You can call it the third or fourth, depending on how you're counting. But for me, I think it's the fourth video of the day. I told you we are charged like never before, and we are not stopping, not until we obviously bring you the latest news and information. News is dropping like no other. Fabrizio Romano breaking a huge story via the Give Me Sport that Arsenal have gone ahead to make contact with Everton on the availability of Amadou Onana. I've been one of those people who have been here on several occasions talking about Amadou Onana to Arsenal. And even yesterday, when I was doing a story of Bruno Guimaraes transfer to Man City, like Arsenal is losing the battle, I was at the forefront of really coming in through and telling you that a lot is really happening. A lot is really happening. And I told you that Arsenal might obviously shift from the plan of spending £100 million on one player to dividing that money into two to get into players, Amadou Onana and Zubimendi, or Amadou Onana and Fofana. And for that it's cheaper because they'll only need like £70 million, obviously bringing those two players, or Fofana and Zubimendi, depending on how Arsenal really wants to do their stuff. But remember, even Douglas Luiz price has gone ahead, obviously shrink to £69 million. Arsenal haven't gone ahead, obviously put in a shift, but I'm gonna be bringing you that story in here onto the Football News Show. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are, and we continue bringing you the latest news and information as far as all this is concerned. We have a Xabi Alonso story coming in through, and also there is another story that I've gone ahead to find important to bring onto you. Leroy Sane again on his dream that has gone ahead to come true. It was promised to him years back. It has gone ahead to finally happen. 400 likes should be smashed on this video. Don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in on a daily. And we want to hit 22,000 subscribers, right? And we are left with how many? We are left with like some 30 left to obviously hit that number. So guys, continue to subscribe. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum. The Christians, we thank God for the gift of life as usual and always. Now, where do we start from? Obviously, let's start it from Fabrizio Romano, and he has gone ahead and obviously told us that Arsenal have gone ahead to obviously make a huge step into the signing of Amadou Onana. He said, while there weren't concrete talks, Arsenal have contacted Everton over Amadou Onana's availability, though they will have to better other Premier League clubs for his signing, meaning that they are not only the team that are interested in signing Amadou Onana. There are several teams outside there that are really having what you call concrete interest in him. Teams like Newcastle, teams like Manchester United, teams like Chelsea, teams like Barcelona that have gone ahead obviously coming in through to put in a very huge shift. And even Chelsea is part of those teams that are really willing to obviously sign this Belgian international that's going to be playing into the Euros. And ever since he came in through and made his debut for Everton under Frank Lampard, he has not gone ahead to stay the same. He has gone ahead to put in a very huge shift as a player, and I tell you what, his performances have kept Arsenal on tenterhooks, and they are here again for, I think, the second time in a row to obviously vie for his signature. I tell you, he has a lot of attributes that he brings to Arsenal. For example, the physicality. If you add Declan Rice and this guy into the midfield, you obviously get to know that they are going to be what we call a juggernaut in that midfield. They are all tall, and this guy is really tall. I think it's like 1.9 meters tall. That helps Arsenal really increase onto its set-piece threats. Remember, Arsenal is the best team in the Premier League that scored most goals in the set pieces, and when you get him in, that means your threat in the set pieces is obviously increasing when you're really facing on these other teams. And I think with Nicolas Jova available, he will be one of those who will get excited if at all Arsenal really get this deal done, because you know in the set pieces that height always matter a lot, meaning that if you have him in, he'll be having very many towering bodies into that into that box of the opponent. William Saliba, you are having Gabriel Magalhaes, Declan Rice, this guy known as Amadou Onana, Kai Havertz is tall, you're having 5 tall bodies that can obviously do the needful and be the win headers. That is the power of getting him in. And I think, to me, if I'm Arsenal, I get this guy in. Why? If they are keeping Declan Rice and Jorginho, for Thomas Partey, we all know that 90% chance is leaving, 10% chance is staying. I think you'll be having 2 players that can really play in that CDM area, meaning that you can easily get in Amadou Onana to obviously come in through and do the needful. But most of you might be asking yourselves, can he play as a 6? Can he play as a number 8? I tell you, he can literally play in every position in that midfield. And the Give Me Sport have gone ahead to obviously add more to this. And they've gone ahead to obviously say the following. That Onana could be the ideal player to sit along Declan Rice on paper. There are similar players who can both play in a number 6 role, though Rice has exceeded expectations this season with his dependability in the final third. 7 goals and 9 assists speak for themselves, and his work rate and stamina shining above all else. Arsenal have landed a top player. So, he can play in a number 8 position. You let Declan Rice sit into that CDM area, and then this guy to offer you a lot of drive into that number 8 position alongside Martin Odegaard. I think that can be an ideal midfield 3 for Arsenal, and I would love to see that happen. This guy has a very huge drive going forward, and defensively he's really great, and his tackles have gone ahead obviously put in a very huge shift. Then they added that but Declan Rice going forward means that Arsenal now need a player who can sit back and mop up the play, which Onana is ideal at. As per the F brief, he ranks in the 92nd percentile of players in Europe's top 5 leagues for tackles per 90 minutes and 89th percentile for disposing players and 99th percentile for aerial duels won, which would provide the Arsenal with the perfect foil to allow Declan Rice to shine. Meaning that when you look at how this guy really performs and his performances per 90, the guy is really good at winning the aerial duels, grand duels, and his passing abilities are really next to none. And we, as the Rokani Media Football, went ahead obviously copy out something in here for you. He had 30 appearances and pass completion per 90, 84.9. You understand that is really elite of him. Then aerial duels won 1.8 per 90, meaning that he wins like 2 per 90. Tackles per game 2.4. He was third in the Premier League. Then in the squad in there for you. Fouled per game 1.5, and match rating he averages a 6.9, a 6.7 rating per game. That's the player that Arsenal needs. His physical attributes are really unquestioned. That is it. He's this kind of man who will run, to see to it that he really saves his team and put his body on the line to see to it that a lot really goes his way. So, if Arsenal have gone ahead to make contact, though it's not yet concrete, for this guy, it is really evident that they are totally interested into him. They want to sign the player, they want him to be part of their squad, and it's all about Arsenal making what we call the final move to see to it that they obviously make this official. But I've told you, Arsenal have gone ahead to obviously make that first move and first tape. They've gone ahead to ask Everton on the availability of this guy. They've gone ahead to obviously act on Amadou Onana's availability. And I tell you what, he's really, really, really that kind of player that Arsenal need. And we wait to see how Arsenal make their moves, but he's also going to be playing in the Euros. Don't really doubt that. when you look at the Belgian squad, let me check it here and see. He has to be there. Belgium squads for the Euros. We really have him in already. I really read it, and the guy is already. When you look at the midfielders, there is Kevin De Bruyne, Mangala. There is Amadou Onana of Everton. He's there. He's there. With the likes of Yuri Tielemans, he's there, meaning that Belgium is expected to go far, especially to the quarterfinals, meaning that towards the first week of July, maybe Belgium might be out, and he'll rest for 2 weeks. That is, will it be a week or a month? It will depend, He might rest for the first 3 weeks of July, and he might join Arsenal towards the end of the month of July. But for them, they're not going to be affected because this time around, Arsenal is not going to be playing in the Community Shield, meaning that they'll have to wait, until the Premier League really starts. And Amadou Onana will join with the squad, maybe down in America, do some training, play like 1 or 2 games with them, see to it that all goes on as planned for the side of Arsenal. So we'll wait and see how Arsenal really gonna proceed onto this, but it's really a huge movement into the right direction for Amadou Onana, as contact is gonna have to be made to sign this guy known as Amadou Onana. He's tall enough, he's young, and he's a Belgian international, and Arsenal obviously get him in at a young age, meaning that even the resale value is gonna be high. He's the player they need. And for Everton, they're really having problems. They cannot really stop themselves from really selling, because even last summer they never wanted to sell Anthony Gordon, but they were forced to even loan him to Newcastle with a mandatory buy clause of £60 million. And I think for Amadou Onana, they'll need to sell him for like £50 million to see to it that they obviously don't breach those Premier League financial fair play rules, because if they breach them, they are lined up for what we call a point deduction next season, like it happened to them the previous season. So that is it for Amadou Onana, and let's obviously go to Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso has come out and spoken to CNN about his future, and he's speaking to Amanda Davis. He's a sports anchor for the CNN. He said, Xabi Alonso on links with Liverpool, he said, for sure my bond with Liverpool is there and it's still there, so there is no any kind of issue with that. So he was like, I didn't come to Liverpool not because I never had a bond for them, but I tell you, my bond is really strict and really huge for Liverpool, and I tell you, all will go on as planned, and it's like at the point X I'll come in through and we do the job for Liverpool. But I think his chances of really being a Liverpool manager have gone ahead to shrink, and they will depend on to how Ancelotti really performs. Ancelotti is an ambitious manager. If he really puts Liverpool in shape like for 1 or 2 seasons, I think Xabi Alonso won't be coming to Liverpool in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years to come, and he might find himself really moving to Real Madrid to manage Real Madrid, because Carlo Ancelotti said he's really gonna put his career to an end at Real Madrid, and I don't think that it's gonna be next season or the other season, and it looks like he might end his career in the season of 2025-2026, and he might be having some 2 seasons to come. And for Xabi Alonso, he'll be excited, obviously stay at Bayern Leverkusen and obviously keep them into the winning shape of trophies, because he has gone ahead to see them lift their first league trophy at their home, and they also went ahead to obviously reach the final of the UEFA Europa League. They lost, and they went ahead to win. Is it the certain cup in Germany that they went ahead to win? So he's very optimistic that one day, one time he'll go to Liverpool, but his coming to Liverpool early will depend on to how Ancelotti really goes ahead to do his job at the side of Ancelotti does his job at the side of Liverpool. But Ancelotti is already there at Liverpool. He's really trying to do things and make them happen, see to it that all goes on as to plan, and he's really ready. So for Xabi Alonso, he's also on a holiday, planning for the summer transfer window to see who Bayern Leverkusen is obviously going to bring in to strengthen his squad. Remember, he's going to be playing in the Champions League, and we might see them being drawn, with Liverpool, because they went ahead to win the Bundesliga. They're really going to be the top seed, and Bayern Munich is obviously going to find itself in a position of really being in plot B. So we wait and see. Liverpool might obviously face Leverkusen and see who edges the other. Can Ancelotti edge Xabi Alonso, or Xabi Alonso will obviously continue to do the needful? We wait and see how that is obviously going to come out in here onto this channel known as the Rokani Media Football. As you know, we are a multi-news channel, and we will obviously get you news from different platforms all over the world. Now, when we go to the side of Leroy Sane, he has come out and obviously said the following in Vincent Kompany, and this is how people's dreams really come true, and this is what we call believing, and Vincent Kompany is a believer. And Leroy Sane on Vincent Kompany said, when we were together at City, he actually told me he would become my coach one day. I just said that won't happen. Now it has happened, unfortunately. No, just kidding. I'm very happy that he's now our coach and can work at such a top club. As a player, Vincent Kompany was an absolute leader, someone who leads the way, who wants to see dominant, fast and brave football. Even as a player, he always expected that from his teammates. If we can still instill that in us at Bayern Munich, our time with him will be very good. So this guy knows this man, and we've always gone ahead to know that defenders and midfielders have gone ahead to make the best managers. When you look at forwards, they haven't gone ahead to obviously come out to be as great managers as they've always gone ahead to be. And look at Mikel Arteta, he was a midfielder. Look at Pep Guardiola, he was a midfielder. Eric Ten Hag was a defender. Look at Ancelotti, he was a midfielder. Look at Xavi, he was a midfielder. Look at Alonso Xabi, he was a midfielder. I think even Jurgen Klopp. But all the forwards that have gone ahead to obviously take on these jobs, they haven't gone ahead to perform very well. When you look at Zinedine Zidane performed very well, but I think that was also much contributed with the class of those players that he was really having. If you're having a team with Casillas in goal, Cavallal as the right back, Marcelo left back, Varane and Sergio Ramos into the central defense, Casemiro, Toni Kroos, Modric in the midfield three, with Ronaldo, right? Karim Benzema and Angel Di Maria in that team. That team had gone ahead to reach what we call its peak, and they won everything. That's why he went ahead, obviously, win three Champions League trophies in a row, and that's why I think he's even scared, obviously, coming through. But for Vincent Kompany, he shows you that he's a very good manager. Look at how he's really doing things. He's doing things exceptionally good, and the player is telling his fellow players that is Leroy Sane. If you happen to obviously get instilled into that culture that he had while he was playing at the side of Man City, where I was still rubbing shoulders with him, then a lot will happen. And guess what? He's now managing Leroy Sane. And with the other side of mentality and really belief, we should learn from this. What Vincent Kompany has always gone ahead to really say to him years back, and it's gone ahead to happen like 4 or 5 years later, because this guy left in 2020, I think 2020-2021 season from Man City, and Vincent Kompany had really hung up his boots in the season of 2019 at Man City, and he told him, I'm going to become your manager. But setting goals without actions, you are not going to get what exactly you're supposed to get. This guy only got and made this because of the goals he set, followed them up, pumped up, and the rest was history. That is the man himself, Vincent Kompany, for you. And I sign out for now. See you later as I call upon for your reactions in the comment section below about Arsenal make huge Amadou Onana transfer contact with Everton. They want to obviously sign the player, meaning that if you contact the player, if you contact the team of the team, if you contact the team of the player on whether he's available or not, that is a confirmation that you've already gone ahead to obviously have good terms with the player and his agents. So, what do you make about Alonso, Xabi, and Leroy Sane seeing the promise that Vincent Kompany made to him way back coming to happen years after it was made? 400 likes smash in this video. Don't forget to subscribe and continue to hit the notification bell after subscribing. Good night to all those watching in through, but I tell you, I might invade you in the night with a live video that I'm gonna obviously plan to obviously throw into your ears. Rokani David is my name, and don't forget to subscribe. The Muslims Barakallahu Fikum, and good night to everyone watching in this channel. The Christians, we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And guys, today we've gone ahead to have a marathon. This is, I think, is it the fourth? I think it's the fourth video, and more is coming onto this channel.